Good evening. Welcome to Man Cave Meditations. Let's dive right in. So, the thing about Trump that I feel so many of us, this main thing that we forget is the fact that he's an entertainer. That was, I strongly believe, feel in my heart, that the reason why he was put on this earth was to do that. And for whatever reason, life took, But he's a Bob Barker. Bob Barker's, obviously. I'm sorry, Bob. I'm sorry for the reference. But if not that, Bob Barker was more for the 80s and 90s, that kind of game show. Alex Trebek, Pat Sajak. We demanded at that time that our game show hosts be good looking, well spoken, moral, or at least they appeared to be, and have a little sense of humor. Except for maybe the good looking, which, lost a long time ago. The president-elect has none of these traits. None of these traits. None of these traits. And therefore, if he had ever gone into, that line of work, he would have failed. He would have failed. So why are we where we are? Because based upon all of his history, all the bankruptcies, all of the people that he screwed, all those in AC, the contractors put out of business, all of that, besides all of that, we are here because someone, capitalistically, it's a brilliant idea that he had, Mark B, whatever his name, that came up with the idea to put Trump and The Apprentice to start that. It's a great idea. It's a great idea. Because a lot of the audience, we still have the remembrance of Trump, mid-80s, early Trump, and the game, the board game, the AC casinos, and New York City high rise, all that. So this guy came up with this idea to make this show where Trump just got to be his natural self, which is, in the end, it's a game show host. Like a sleazy game show host. Reality TV game show host. And he's great at it. He's so good at it. You're fired. Get out. Who do you think you are? Be quiet. I'm talking now. Be quiet. He crushes it at that. And the American people ate it up. Loved it. Loved it. And as we have over time, with our, I suppose, inability to read or just actually accept TV as being reality, we thought that what we were seeing was the real thing. Well, it turns out that whole boardroom was just made up. So made up by the producers of the show. So the American people were taught a huge lie by the great, the greatest perhaps snake oil salesman in the history of mankind, or if not, he's in the top 10. And he was able to do it with the help of these producers. And from that point, I just think it was like one of Elon Musk's rocket chips. Yeah. And he got into 2016. He got into that Republican that primary. Slaughtered them. He slaughtered them. It was a bloodbath. Slaughtered them. Well, sir, be the typical Republican nominee. Well, sir, you don't have any. What is your foreign policy? And then Trump would go like, your wife's a fat pig. And you're an idiot. And the Republican nominee, the other guy would be like, oh, he can't say that to me. And so he slaughtered everyone. Just slaughtered them. Piecemeal. Took over the whole thing. And you saw, you look at clips of when Marco Rubio, I think he was in that primary, and the things he was saying at that point versus he just got nominated Secretary of State. Join the train. I could die. I could be pushed off, or I can join and move up. Easy to judge. But who knows? He's got a family kid. I get it. Sell your soul for whatever. I don't agree with it, but I can understand it. Ted Cruz. Another one. Listening to him talk during the 2016 Republican primary, the way he spoke, the way he carried himself, different human being. Totally different. I don't say that judgmentally, I say that observationally. We all go through our spells. But wow. The turnaround at him. But again, do I get pushed off the train? Or do I get on board and then move up? Because if I get pushed off the train, that's a world I don't know. My family doesn't know. None of my friends know. And then you pushed off the whole damn thing. Because we're so partisan in this country, especially the Republican Party, is just like you're a Republican. And at least at that high level, you gotta watch your ass. I get it. So, do I take the paycheck, the 10-hour work week, all those nice bennies, like 20 weeks off a year? Do I take that, or do I choose morality, the high ground? That's where it takes the rare one. Not easy. I get it. I don't agree with it. But I get it. That's why we must have. I believe we should have limits. 2 terms. a senator. 6 terms as a congressman. It's 12 years. It's enough time. 12 years. Yep. 12 years. Presidents could only be presidents for 8 years. Again. Looks like the R. And now there's a potential dictator. Still, we need to have congressional limits. The water must flow. Now it does not flow. If it does not flow, it becomes stagnant. It becomes a pool of stagnant water. Which is, I believe, history will look back on this and realize that that is one of the reasons why this happened. The water wasn't flowing. Just like in the Supreme Court, the water was not allowed to flow. And way too much was put upon the shoulders of precedent. And that in and of itself is a recipe for disaster. We simply assumed that there would be a moral, just, kind, compassionate, empathetic human being within the highest office in our land. And Trump, as the true bull in the china shop, where everybody looks at and says, wait, that bull, he can't do that. He's breaking the china shop. The bull doesn't care. The bull does not care. It just wants to break it. It just wants to break it. It wants to break it all down. And Trump, in a way, I've thought about this more than once. He's like the kid in gym class when the gym teacher is explaining the rules for the game that's coming up, whatever it is. And maybe every other kid in the class, except for him, is listening to the rules, to the gym teacher say the rules, so that they can abide by the rules, right? Not get kicked out, not disqualify their team. Whereas Trump, he would be that kid who would be listening to the rules for the sole reason to find a way to break those rules, to find a way around, to circumnavigate. He doesn't care about the rules. He wants to break them. And the sooner that we understand that, the sooner we will be able to confront them. So, that's that. All right. Man Cave Meditations, we always end with a quote. I think I did this last time, but I'll say it again. Here it goes. Give light, and the darkness will disappear of itself. Desiderius Erasmus. God bless.